everyone, it's me again. I'm Lena and I'm from the Health Landscape group. In this video, I'll be talking about my main video, which is the muscular system and introduction. So this video is only an introduction to our new topic, which is the muscular system. So for this week, we have decided that we're going to follow a few parts and that we must ensure in our videos. For example, we need to talk about the definition of the muscular system, its functions, minerals, cells, muscle tissue, and how to keep the muscles healthy. So let's start first with what is the muscular system. Now, as its name might suggest, the muscular system consists of muscles. So the muscular system is an organ system that enables movement, that helps us to move and performs other functions, most of them internally. So that is what is the muscular system. So it involves muscles primarily. How about its functions? Well, there are six main functions, though there are a lot of other small functions that the muscular system does. So for the first function that it does is that it enables movement. It works and collaborates with the skeletal system to enable the movement. It also maintains our body's stability, and the muscles help us to remain still, helps us to have stability when we stand up or when we sit down or do any kind of movement. Next, it also produces heat when it enables movement. Doing that will help us produce heat, and that heat will help to regulate our body temperature, which is where we get the warm-blooded part of the mammals from. So that is the producing heat. Next is circulating blood. Well, the muscular system helps with circulating blood because it's involuntary muscles. The smooth muscles helps to push the blood up against gravity. That's why they're able to pump back through the blood, through our body and into the heart. So yeah, that is circulating blood. They also protect internal organs by cushioning them. For example, they protect our stomach, they protect our digestive system, our heart, our lungs by cushioning them from external forces. So it's like a pillow. Think of it that way. And it also works with other systems for a variety of functions as well. There's the digestive system, the circulatory system, the immune system, the respiratory system, skeletal system, and nervous system. So let's take a few examples. For the digestive system, the smooth muscles of the digestive system will help to digest the food that has gone through the esophagus into the stomach. So the muscles lining up the stomach would help to push and turn around all of the things in that stomach and help to digest it. So that is the digestive system. It helps to also push the food down from the esophagus, like I said before, and helps with the digestive process. So that is the digestive system, how it works with the digestive system. Next is the circulatory system or the cardiovascular system. So it will help with the heart beating. It will help the heart to beat because that is where the cardiac muscle comes in. Without the cardiac muscle, we will not be able to live. And it also helps to circulate the blood, like I said before, in its functions. So that is for the circulatory system. It also helps with skeletal purposes. Like I said, it enables movement, and the respiratory system by helping us to breathe in and exhale, inhale and exhale. So that is involuntary movement. That is the smooth muscles. So that's basically the functions of the muscular system. Next are the minerals of the muscular system. Now, the muscular system have lots of minerals, but I'll only summarize some of the minerals in it. So there's sodium, calcium, iron, phosphorus, magnesium, potassium, and zinc. So all of these minerals are found within the muscular system, and it is essential for us to provide these minerals for the muscular system to function properly. So that is for the first mind map. It covers 3 parts: what is it, functions, and minerals. Let's move on to the other mind map that I have, which covers the last 3 main parts. So there is the cells. There are three main types of cells in the muscular systems. There's some smooth, cardiac, and skeletal system. Now in the first part, in the first three parts, you might have seen me and heard me talk about the cardiac, smooth, and skeletal system. So what are those exactly? Now the smooth muscle is spindle shaped. So this is the cell. We're talking about the cell. We'll talk about the muscle tissue later. The cells for the smooth muscle is spindle shaped and it contracts involuntarily. For example, it is in the lungs, the respiratory system, the digestive system, the circulatory system. It lines up along those vital organs and other parts as well. It has one nucleus, which is kind of like the brain of the cell. Like it helps to it is like the manager of that cell, so like the brain of that cell. It is not striated, so it's not striped. So that is for the smooth muscle. The skeletal muscle lines up the bones. It enables movement. So it is long, it's multinucleated, which means that in one cell it has multiple nucleus, and it is striated, which means it's striped. And it also has voluntary movement. So whenever we want to move, like move our leg, wave our arms, then our brain would send, a nervous system will send signals to our muscular system, and that will help to contract and flex and extension and helps us to move. So that is the skeletal system. Next is the cardiac muscle cell. So there's the skeletal muscle cell and there's the cardiac muscle cell, which lines up our heart. The name might suggest the cardiac muscle. It is involuntarily works because it lines up the heart, and we can't always, at all times, we can't think of like beating our heart, and when we don't think about it, then it stops. Then it must be involuntary movement. So it beats, it moves, and it controls by the nervous system, and it does not need our brain, it does not need us to think for our heart to beat, if you get what I mean. It is striated like the skeletal system, the skeletal muscle cell and it is branched. So as you can see, there are branches out here. It's one nuclei, or the nucleus, and it has intercalated discs, which we will talk about later in our discussion of the muscular system in the next few weeks. And there are also gap junctions as well. Let's move on to the muscle tissue. Now we've talked about the cells of the muscular system, which is the smooth muscle, skeletal muscle cell, and the cardiac muscle cell. So those are the muscle cells. How about the muscle tissue? The tissue is made up from numerous millions, thousands of cells. So that is the tissue. Skeletal tissue, muscle tissue, is voluntary work. So our brain will send signals to our muscles so that we can coordinate with our bones and help us to enable movement, help us to move. It will work with the bones to move the body, of course, and it regulates and maintains body temperature through those movements. So that is the skeletal muscle tissue. Next is the smooth muscle tissue. Like I said before, it forms the outer walls, the middle layer, the outer walls of the digestive system, circulatory system, respiratory system, and other systems as well. So that is involuntary work. If you think about it, when we're digesting our food, the food that we just ate, we can't just think about it at all times. And for example, if we're studying, then we have to think about digesting or inhaling or blinking our eyes or having our heart to beat when we are studying. So that would mean that our heart will stop when we're not thinking about it, and then we will die, of course. So we need it to be involuntary. We need it to be an involuntary muscle tissue so that it will beat on its own. So it will contract on its own. So yeah, that is for the smooth muscle. It lines up the walls of the blood vessels, internal organs, and it helps with digestion and respiration, etc. Lastly, for the cardiac muscle tissue, it is involuntary as well, which means it does not need us thinking about it. And it lines up the middle layer of the walls of the heart, and it never rests. It works day to night like the smooth muscle. Only the skeletal muscle tissue is the only type of muscle tissue that does not, that isn't involuntary work. So yeah, that is the muscle tissues. Lastly, I want to talk about how to keep the muscles healthy. So you can see there are four main ways to keep the muscles healthy. First is exercising, of course. Next is nutrition, hydration, and lifestyle. Firstly, for the exercise, there will be resistance training, which we will have resistance bands. There's also aerobic exercise like swimming, cycling, etc. And weight bearing, which those weight bearing so that it will not only help with our skeletal system, but also the muscular system. It will help us to have that strength and helps us to be able to do things well. So yeah, that is for the exercise. For the nutrition, we need proteins, we need vitamins and minerals, like I said in the first part. And for that, there is this illustration that I have. Let me search for it here. Keeping the muscles healthy. As you can see here, we need potassium in these kinds of foods, vitamin C from these kinds of foods, vitamin B, B6, phosphorus, and calcium. So those are the types of food and vegetables and fruits that will help to keep our body healthy. That is for the nutrition. And I've talked about the minerals that we need in order for our muscular system to properly behave and function. Next is hydration. We need to drink at least 2.7 liters of water per day. So that is like 2 huge bottles of water, like this big, 2 big waters of bottle of water each day. So yeah, that is for that hydration. There's also the lifestyle, which means that we need to sleep at least 8 hours per day. And also we need to have good posture so that it won't have stress on our muscles, and also keep a look at our weight. So we need to have healthy weight. We need to look at our weight and see if it is overweight or underweight, and we need to get to that goal of us to get to a healthy weight. So yeah, that is for how to keep the muscles healthy. Lastly, I want to show you just some pictures that I have here. I haven't mentioned the parts of the muscular system, but here are a few. As you can see, there's the muscle, and here is the tendon. So remember, the tendon is attaching muscle to bone. Here's the bone, and this is the kneecap. This is the kneecap, and it's attaching the tendon is attaching this kneecap to the muscle, but the ligament attaches the bone to bone. So this is the knee joint complex, so here, and here's the cartilage. So that is for the muscular system, some of the parts of the muscular system. There are also types of muscles. This is another illustration, as you can see here. For the cardiac muscle, it lines up the walls of the heart. For the smooth muscle, it lines up the walls of the stomach. And the skeletal muscle lines up the walls of the skeleton of our bones. And this is some easy ways to slow muscle loss. There's engage in regular exercise, including resistance training to maintain muscles and strength. There's also eating good sources of protein from lean meats, eggs, and beans. Aim for 25 to 30 grams of protein every meal. Choose a balanced diet full of veggies, fruits, whole grains, proteins, etc. Consider taking other muscle health ingredients like HMB, and also talk to your healthcare provider about nutrition, especially if you are ill, hospitalized, or recovering from surgery, to manage ill-related muscle loss. So yeah, that is some easy ways to slow muscle loss, and there's one last illustration that I want to show you. This is an illustration of the muscles flexing and contracting, so relaxing and contracting. So yeah, that is when we flex our muscles. The other muscle will relax, the others will contract. This is the same. The other muscle will contract, the one will relax. And we'll talk about how they relax and contract later in our other studies and other discussions of the muscular system in the next 4 weeks of learning about the muscular system. But yeah, basically that's it for my muscular system video. And to end this video, I have a fun fact, which is, did you know that your body contains more than 600 muscles, the smallest muscle being in your ear and the biggest in the hip? That is correct. Your biggest muscle is in the hip, and it helps with the major movements with the skeletal system, like moving your femur, your legs, helping to rotate, flexion, extension. There's also adduction and abduction, other kinds of movements. So yeah, that is my fun fact for this video. If you have any other questions or any other opinions, suggestions for improvement on my video, then I'll be glad to hear it. Thank you for listening to my video, and I hope to see you soon. Goodbye.